Upon finally completing Gris a couple of weeks ago, and really gaining and understanding the knowledge of it, I fell in love with the game. Its beautiful art style, its amazing visual themes, and ability to let the viewer understand its art through their own means. The sad story of Gris and her journey through her grief, losing her mother and trying to find a way through the battle of the inner self. Whether it was the stages of grief themselves or Gris fighting herself internally. This game is amazing. It's one of, if not the most mature game I've had the pleasure to play. And its messaging of loss and grief are some things that can connect to everybody no matter who's playing through it. I have my own video on dissecting Gris and its themes and its story on my channel. If it's something that you're interested in, you can check it out later. But that's not why we're here today. Today I want to talk about a theory, if you would. One that might change your whole perspective on the story of Gris. One that was steadily looming over the player with many themes and evidence supporting it. It's a theory I myself have even thought of from time to time. Now, before I get into this theory, there is some things I want to make clear. One is that I believe this game doesn't have a true ending as confirmed from the people who made it. This game, just as I said before, is all about interpretation, just as grieving is. It all varies from person to person. That's the beauty of this game. Now, while I still believe the most conclusive ending is the one that I discussed in my video, it doesn't make you wrong for believing otherwise. And lastly, as I said before, it's just a theory. Something interesting I wanted to share as I haven't seen anyone on YouTube talk about it. And I just want to say thank you to this person for this Reddit thread on the theory. I give all credit to them for explaining details and ideas I haven't even thought of. But with all of that finally out of the way now, let's now get into the Gris death theory. Gris is a game about grieving and loss. You go on a journey as a girl named Gris, fighting her internal struggles and trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel, going through all the stages of grief and finally coming to terms with the death of her mother. But what if I told you that it's the opposite of what we thought all along? What if I even said it's not Gris's mother who passed away, but Gris herself? Now that might seem outlandish to some of you maybe not, but hear me out for a bit. As I've said previously and will continue to reiterate, Gris is a game about interpretation. It's up to you as the viewer to make up your own conclusion to the story. Of course, there's things in the game that would point to a certain direction, but in the end it's up to us to make up our own vision. But let's get into the theory now, shall we? I think evidence to support this theory starts off at the beginning of the game. Gris's voice is a very much important function in this game. It's one we've been chasing to get back this entire time, finally unlocking it back in the final section of the game. How I originally viewed Gris's voice was Gris lost it because she wasn't herself mentally. She didn't go through the proper grief, so her voice lost her power. And in the end, when she finally went through those stages, she was able to find herself once more. The voice and the statues throughout this game are the most integral pieces of this puzzle. The statue still being the mother and Gris's voice still being hers, but I see it in a different light now. In this light, I actually see Gris's voice from the perspective of Gris's mother, aka the mother who was the statue lost the memory of her daughter's voice. Throughout the game, you can interpret Gris's mother as someone who is slowly losing the memory of her daughter. So Gris herself is slowly trying to reconnect her life's memory to her mother's once again. I think that points to why we see these statues crying very early on in the game. In the anger portion is where we first see these statues. This area is a bit of a foretelling of the journey. Why would these statues with obvious long hair, which is assuming to be Gris's mother, be crying? Isn't Gris's mother the one who passed on? This anger portion also has a very important room. The self-reflection room, as I'll call it. This room always struck me as odd. Again, in my original video on Gris, I see this room as a place of self-reflection. As I still think it is, but I never touched on those statues. Again, more statues that are in a state of disarray. This being the room when the dark entity first comes to life. Maybe the statue knows this. This dark entity trying to destroy her memories of her daughter. Now I want to fast forward a bit, as the most conclusive evidence towards this theory of Gris being the one who passed on is most present at the end of the game. Once unlocking her voice again, and now ready to head onto the constellation, Gris is once again attacked by the entity. After being swallowed and forced to climb more obstacles, you're met with your mother's stone hand once again. In a last-ditch effort to sing the entity away, it's not Gris's voice who destroys the entity, but her mother's. And I think in that moment is very underrated and telling. I say that because, like the Reddit post says, it's a testament to Gris's mother breaking the darkness. Because she's the one who sung it away. As we can see, Gris herself was being swallowed whole. The memory of Gris almost slipped away from her mother, but she finally accepted her death. She rebuilt herself again through the help of Gris helping her memories. The statue is once again whole. It comes full circle from when the statue first broke. In this moment, after the colors reign supreme over the land once again, and with the dark entity now defeated, Gris's mother sheds a final tear goodbye. Gris giving her one last hug before setting off. Gris walks onto the constellation and into the light as if she's ready to move on. not from her mother's death, but with her own. And I think that moment of Gris heading into the light was always one up for interpretation. It could be seen as Gris accepting her mother's death and finally heading into the light. Or, like I think in this theory, it's a moment of Gris literally being able to pass on knowing her mother accepted her death. Like I said already, this ending was always one that caught my eye. It's up in the air what really happened here. But let's touch on the statue a bit more. There's a bit more of evidence I want to discuss for this theory that caught my eye, as I once again refer to the Reddit post. This part of the post says it better than I would, so I'll read it. Quote, "The mother is always presented as the statue, a solid physical snapshot that Gris is catching, occasionally catching moving glimpses from the other side. For example, the first time the statue moves by blinking when yellow is first discovered." So let's look at the moment of awakening the color of yellow. Just as the Reddit post says, the statue moves, could be seen as the statue noticing us from the other side. Whether you think this theory has some merit to it or if you think it's completely false, regardless, the game of Gris will always be special. Because I think no matter what the story is or who it's about or who died, if anyone even died at all, it's all about fighting grief. And no matter what comes from it, no matter what kind of obstacles can be in your way, there will always be a light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you for those who tuned in and watched to the end. This won't be a very long video as a lot of this game relies on personal feeling and not necessarily evidence. Regardless though, I hope you enjoyed this spin on the story of Gris. And thank you for those who watched both my Neva and Gris videos. I didn't expect to like these games as much as I did, and to meet some great people through the discussion of these games. I'm planning on starting another playthrough game soon. With the help of you guys and some stuff I found on my own, I think I have an idea on what's next. But that's for another time. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and goodbye.